Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Contemplations. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the past few weeks. I really just want to talk about the major transitions going on in my life and just more of a life update and where I'm at with this newsletter, the podcast as a whole, and just all the different facets and moving parts that are taking place in my personal life and business right now. First things first, I'd love to talk about this newsletter in particular. Man, it really feels like it's evolved so much since I first started. I guess I can say I first started back in, what would it be, June of 2022. So it's been now over 4 years. That's just incredible. And I'm very proud of myself for documenting this beautiful journey throughout this whole time. I've gone through just so many life events, moved to a complete other side of the world and then moved back, had girlfriends, had now fiance, had my entire awakening, so many different looks in terms of a beard and buzz cut and then this and that. Everything in my life, it feels like it's gone in waves and really shifted over time and evolved. And it's really hit this point to where I now feel as if I'm entering the next level of overall coherence in my content and in the just expression of myself, what I feel as if I'm here to do, my overall purpose. And this newsletter is going to be part of that. So in the past, it felt like I was giving life updates. This originally started as a newsletter that I was sending to um, family members and close friends that had subscribed right when I told them I was moving across the world and wanted to stay in touch. And ever since then, it's really evolved as I went on this journey to me sharing what's going on in my life, to also just my own thoughts and contemplations and experiences at a deeper level than I guess normally what people may talk about in an email list update back to their friends and family. It's dramatically involved, and a lot more people are now along this journey. Quite a few more subscribers, and just people that have met me from the internet or in person that just really wanted to connect deeper. And I'm really just so grateful for all of that. One thing I've also noticed recently is I've recognized that over the past few years, the immense journey I've been on has led me to live a completely different life than when I started this. And it's now become very clear that my purpose is to step into a chapter of my life of which I really go deeper. And I share a lot of the reflections, the experiences, and the deep contemplations that make up everything that is me. And doing so in a way that goes to a level that oftentimes is not being able to be heard by the average person. It's a deeper level that requires oftentimes a higher level of intention, willingness from the reader or watcher, and overall higher consciousness than the type of content I've put out for the past 4 years. And I know I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. A few newsletters in the past had a little bit of a glimmer of this, but now it's time to really dive deeper. There's so many incredible esoteric principles, life experiences, just things about how the universe works that I'm really looking forward to share. And as I step more into being a teacher, as I step more into the wild parts of myself I didn't even think were existed, now that they've shown themselves very clear to me, they must have the proper container. And I'm really excited for that because what this is going to look like in the next handful of weeks is a paid version of the newsletter. It's going to be something that is still relatively affordable, but it requires more buy-in to learn the concepts that I'm going to be sharing, to read the experiences that I've had that can really invoke something in you, if you so please, if you are ready. And I've recognized that takes a higher level of contribution from those that are watching, listening, and reading to make sure that they are truly ready for this experience. And that's something that I'm very, very excited for. Another huge part of it is I'm looking forward to bringing more devotion to this part of my life, this creativity part. And this is something that's very different from the businesses that we run, the communities we build. The creativity is something that I know I want to pour more into. But now that I have a family, now that I'm ready to put out material that should not be seen by everyone, it's important for me to make sure I'm properly reciprocated for that. I know the level of devotion that will come for that when I see writing, when I see creating this way as my job, as such a pivotal part of my purpose, rather than just a passion project. It will just unlock an entire new level of intentionality, focus, and wisdom to flow through me. So I'm immensely excited and grateful for this. Over the next handful of weeks, I'll be playing with what exactly this may look like. I know there will be probably in the beginning monthly, but then very soon after weekly newsletters that are behind the paywall that we'll have. And then also we're going to do more than likely some free newsletters still in that weekly cadence that still kind of share the more service level things of what I'm creating, building, connecting, and contemplating lightly in that form. So anyone that's currently subscribed, either on YouTube, Spotify, or on Substack, where I have the newsletter, they'll still have access to me in those versions. But also, I'd like to invite people to go deeper with me. There's so much that I'm really excited to share. I just need to make sure that people are energetically bought in for that type of experience. And so the next few weeks, this next month or so is going to be more of a transition to that. I'll be experimenting with a few things, but I really feel like I know what it's going to look like and how it's going to be. And I can just see the next level of high quality videos on a more consistent basis and just a higher cadence and more of them in general. And also just a deeper dive in the newsletter is something the audience is probably ready for. And I know that my soul is yearning for. So I'm really excited about that. So I just want to share that in the beginning. Besides that, it's just been such an interesting time in my life where it feels like everything is having me make the businesses we run, the communities we run, be as simple and as effective as possible and also efficient as possible for me to make the space in my day and in my life to pour into these creations, because this is what I'm meant to be doing. I will always have businesses on the side. I will always have communities on the side. Those are now in a position where it's time for me to make sure that they're not reliant on me, and that I build the systems and just the organizational structure with the right people and automations and all the things I've talked about in previous newsletters here, making sure that those run incredibly well and can expand at a compounding rate without me, taking up the least amount of my time and attention necessary to do so, so that I can focus fully on this. I can focus fully on making the impact I've always known that I was meant to make in the world on the topics that I know I'm ready to share. So it's a very exciting time. I feel like I'm finally stepping into my true purpose of what I'm here to do. It's the part of me that I know that on top of the businesses, on top of the communities, that when I pour myself into, that is when my soul knows that I am aligned. That is when everything just feels like it's moving in the right direction. This is just what I feel like I'm here to do. And so I'm really excited for that. Everything else is going to stay the same. Everything else is going to continue to compound with this more devotion. I'm excited to just show more consistently and also with a higher level of effectiveness on all the different platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, of course, all these other things that will allow anyone who's ready to tap into this frequency to be able to do so. So very exciting times in my life. Really excited to have y'all on board. And man, this is just the beginning of something very special. So thank you all for this special edition of Contemplations. I love you all so deeply, and I'll see you soon.